Mr. Panda, let me start by asking you about this decision of the Modi government to ban, to suspend issuance of visas to Canadian nationals. How do you justify and explain this decision taken by the Ministry of External Affairs, given that we aren't at war with Canada in any real sense? There's a breakdown of ties for sure, there is an escalation certainly, but suspending visas isn't something that's been done with any country outside of a war.
Well, you know, we have seen these hoardings in Canada where these extremists and terrorists are openly asking to murder Indian diplomats. We have seen reportage on your channel and on social media about Indian Canadians who don't subscribe to Khalistani separatists' viewpoints being threatened with violence. We have seen innumerable instances where what Canada is doing in tolerating such elements, in appeasing them, in providing them a platform is nothing short of an extremely hostile action. And this is a different India. This is no longer an India which will keel over and play dead when we are being treated so badly, when we are being given lectures hypocritically. And what is being done is precisely what a government should do to protect its citizens and its diaspora. And so it makes sense because so many of these terror operations in India have happened with planning in Canada, with involvement of terrorists who are sheltered in Canada. So we do have to be careful about who comes in and who doesn't. I think in light of recent developments, there has to be fresh scrutiny so that India and Indians are protected.
You floated this idea that India should maybe back a Quebec referendum or start supporting Quebec separatists. This started generating a lot of chatter. Do you want to build on your theory in terms of how you believe we could do to Canada what the Canadians are doing to India, and then we'll see how Ottawa reacts?
Well, as you know, of course, that tweet was a sarcastic tweet, but it does have a basis in truth, in reality, and realpolitik. Canada also has separatist movements, the most prominent of which is Quebec. And if they give shelter to terrorists who orchestrate violence against Indians and against Canadians actually also, for a separatist movement, then my sarcastic tweet was that we should return this friendly gesture of sorts. Now, in Quebec, there was reports earlier this year, for example, by the platform Politico, that the polling numbers show a greater support for Quebec to split from Canada and become independent, but they are not currently allowing a referendum, although they've had referendums in the past. And so I have suggested that certainly there are many Indians who have the capability to facilitate an online referendum for Quebec. And there are elected representatives in Canada, such as Paul Plamondon of the Parti Québécois, who is an elected legislator in Canada, who has been going around meeting political leaders in Europe and other places to explain their position. And so I've said, certainly we should also be open to hearing their position, and I would be more than happy to host an interaction here in Canada to listen to them.